We're back for a mini episode. All right, we are back from our little adventure to California to become the world's greatest celebrity chef.
No one's coming. No one's coming.
I didn't actually meet Tom Hanks.
Moss, as he likes to be called. He'll be here. You know, he always shows up. He'll be here.
Or Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon! Gordon, where are you?
Or Guy Fieri. Or Denzel Washington. But that's not the point. The point is we were out there making moves, rubbing elbows.
Hey man, I think it's time for you to go.
I know it's been a while, but that is because I wasn't exactly clear on the rules about using a friend's kitchen. Oh shit.
Who the fuck are you?
Run! My friend Dave is from England, so something got lost in translation. I don't know if it's the exchange rate, not even sure what language they speak over there. The point is, it took a little while to get all the bail money, Ricky. But now we're back after a fantastic season 1.
And we got all this for, I don't know, could be $50, could be $10. I'm not sure, but they got a big tip.
Season 1, what a journey. We did so many things, we accomplished so much stuff. First episode, filet mignon. With our help from Christensen Ranch. It was the first episode. It broke ground in the internet cooking show community. I mean, people have been talking about it for months. And then we showed you how to delicately and subtly season a pig head.
Pig penises are shaped like corkscrews.
And then we made bison tongue tacos. I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty sure I solved thousands of years of racial tensions in the American Southwest. Then we made pork belly sliders, got you ready for football season. Alfonso! Then we had Chef Jose stop in for episode 5. We had a great time playing Mystery Meat, and I learned a little something about him too.
What are you doing right now? No, I got it. Guest chef and all.
And then we finished off strong with the season finale of Oxtail. We got a little soul, and we learned a thing or two about cows. Oxes are cows that don't have balls. Bulls are cows with balls. So oxens are cows that they lost their balls, and they're not bulls anymore, they're cows, but we call them oxen, and that's why. But now, we're back in the kitchen bringing you a mini episode. I've seen people on the internet asking, why do we rest steaks? I've seen some of your videos where you don't rest a steak, and you just slice right into it like a barbarian. And I'm gonna teach you why we don't do that. Right here, right now, cooking meat, let's go, let's do it. Here we have 2 flat iron steaks from Christensen Ranch. I have been dreading this moment. We are gonna ruin a perfectly good steak in the name of science. The son of John Jameson, owner of the Jameson Whiskey Company, he bought a little boy and then flew to like Papua New Guinea and fed him to cannibals in the name of science. This might be worse, what we're about to do to the steak. So we've had our steaks sitting out for about an hour like usual. We've patted them dry. You want a pretty nice dry steak. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it dry. Help keep the liquid out. We're gonna start to get our pan hot, like a medium heat, and we're gonna make the base for our rub as always. 2 parts salt, 1 part garlic powder, 1 part pepper. 2 little spooneroonies de sal. We have this down to a science now. It's 25 cranks of pepper is a 1 part. And then we're gonna do 1 part of garlic powder. All right, there we go. And that's what it should look like. Then we're gonna season the steak. Remember, we have a seasoning hand and a meat hand. When I'm alone, my meat hand's my right hand. So 1 to touch the meat, 1 to touch the seasoning. No cross-contamination. Again, we're doing this in the name of science. We are going to show why you rest a steak versus why you don't. These are the 2 smallest steaks I have in my freezer. That's why we're using these flat iron steaks. Flat iron steaks are delicious. They come from the upper shoulder area. Kind of gotta dig to them a little bit, but they're steaky and beefy and meaty and delicious. Generous helping of salt and pepper. And what you can do with all this stuff afterwards, as long as you didn't touch it with your meat hand, you can save it for the next time you cook a steak. So we'll just put that right here, and I don't wash my hands. We are going to dump a little bit of tallow into our pan and render that down into oil. All right, so we're gonna drop our tallow in the pan. So we're starting to get our pan hot. We're gonna throw them in there, both at the same time. This is for science, so it's a control steak and a variable steak. Oh, look at that sizzle. These are kind of thin steaks. Remember what we talked about earlier. You have to take into account the shape of the steak as much as the weight of the steak. So you don't need too much time, like versus a really big, thick steak. So I'm gonna guess just like 2-3 minutes on each side, kind of get it all around there, get all that nice rendered tallow going. We're gonna let that sit for a couple minutes. We'll check it. We want a good little crisp. People call it the blood, but it's really, I think it's called hemoglobin or hema something. Hemoglobin. The hemoglobin. It's gonna kind of rise up out of the steak, and you're gonna see it start to well up in some of these bits. Then we're gonna flip it, sear it again, trap all that juice, and then we're gonna take them off the pan. And 1 steak will be rested and 1 won't. We're gonna cut right into it, and you'll see all the juice from that steak that should have been rested will just pour right out. You should really only flip your steaks 1 time. If you keep flipping it, you're gonna flip out the juice. And what we're trying to have is a very juicy, tender steak. So we probably got another minute. We'll flip it and then we'll call it a day. There we go. Flippity doodah, flippity day. My oh my, what a fucking steak day. So yeah, we got a little crust on top. We're searing in that juice. We're gonna let that sit for another 2-3 minutes and we're gonna ruin this steak, you guys. Yeah. You just wanna do this every, like, give it a little twist in there, because when you throw it straight on the pan, it's gonna soak up that tallow or butter or whatever kind of oil you immediately use. So you kind of give it a little twist, it gets it evenly coated, so you get more of an even cook on. We're cooking with fire now, baby. Hang in there with me, hang in there, we got it. I think we're done. We're gonna turn the heat off. We got a nice sear on, oh, we got a great sear on both sides. We're gonna rest this for about 6 minutes, so we're gonna cut this into it. Meatheads, forgive me for what I'm about to do. Right off the bat, the juice is starting to seep out onto the cutting board. The medium rare on the inside is a little bit darker than what this one will be because all that juice is kind of starting to leak out a little bit. This one will be a little bit more pink versus red, and you won't see so much juice just dripping. I mean, you can see it on the table. When you take stuff off of a hot surface, doesn't matter what it is, a grill, a pan, whatever, it's still cooking. It didn't just immediately cool down to room temperature. So this steak, you can just see it. Like all that red stuff is just dripping out onto the cutting board. What this does is when we taste this afterwards, this one will taste a lot more tender and juicy. This one will be a little bit drier and tougher. If you're in a hurry, I guess you can just cut right into it. But I mean, if you've got 5 minutes to wait, you should rest your steak. Juice is coming out, and this is the red. This is the hemoglobin. Every steak is going to leak a little juice. We're going to find out just now. This has been probably 6 minutes of rest. All right, so we're going to cut into it. That is a lot less cooked. But this is red and this is clear, and that's okay. That's a rare steak. I cooked that a little less. I was hasty. So now we'll do a taste test, all right? Unrested steak first. I can tell it's just a little bit more chewy than it should be and a little bit drier. So if we taste the rested steak, yeah, like right off the bat, it is less chewy and a little more tender and a little more juicy. Man, Christensen Ranch raises good cows. That's the difference. If you look over here, this is just clear and this is all red. See all that red stuff? This is less cooked because it was a little bit thicker and I was just in a hurry. So that's like a rare, but see how dark the meat is right there? This is cooked more, a little bit more, but look how red the meat is. The juice has left, didn't get reabsorbed. So this is like almost like a bright red and this is like a dark red, even though this is less cooked. So that's kind of what you're looking for. That's the point of resting things. This one right here, it's like a bright red. And this one's like a dark red. That's why you do it. If you get a good steak, please rest it. Just wait. Cook your steaks first, set them off to the side, cook whatever other kind of shit you want to cook, and then come back and cut it open. There we go, meatheads. A scientific study done by me, Chef Pat, and we learned why you rest steaks. Even the undercooked steak was better and more juicy and tender than the properly cooked steak because we rested it correctly. So we got 2 more special mini episodes coming before season 2 starts. Keep your eyes peeled because the season 1 DVD is gonna be dropping any week. This is Chef Pat. We'll see you next time on Cooking Meat.